How's it going, people? Sam Slappy here, and this is your quest guide for the Lost Tribe. Happy days! Start to finish, no fast forwarding, just what you need to know. So let's get into it then. Quest requirements: you need to have completed Goblin Diplomacy. Skill wise, you need 13 Agility and 13 Thieving, as well as 17 Mining. Item wise, you will only require a light source for this quest, so whether you decide to bring along a candle, torch, a lamp, bullseye lantern, whichever one you bring, just make sure you have it on you and it's lit. Other than that, to start this quest, you just need to come up to Lumbridge on the second floor, literally right next to where Duke Horatio is, and go ahead and speak to Sigmund. So once you're here, go ahead and simply talk to Sigmund, nice and simple. Choose option 1, do you have a quest for me? And we're going to follow the same old quest protocol here, spam space to skip through everything. So go ahead and accept the quest, and spam some more. At this point, you need to speak to 5 different people. It's going to be random which one gives you the right answer. These people are Duke Horatio, the cook, Hans, Father Eric, and Bob. Duke Horatio is literally right next to you, and the thing you're looking out for is one of them mentioning a goblin. So Duke Horatio is the first one. The cook you can find downstairs in, the kitchen where you'd expect to find a cook. Hans you can find in the courtyard of the castle, just to the east of the entrance, literally right by here. The fourth one, Father Eric, is in the church just to the east of Lumbridge Castle, and Bob is in the axe store just east of Lumbridge Castle. And it's the same thing with all of them, just go up and talk to them and ask them if they saw anything in the cellar. One of these 5 people will mention the goblin. However, it is a bit random which one will say it to you personally, as I've done this quest a few times and it's been different every time so far. So ask about the cellar to Duke Horatio, the cook, Hans, Father Eric, and Bob until eventually one of them tells you about a goblin. Once a goblin's been mentioned, you now want to make your way back up into Lumbridge and talk to Sigmund once more. So once you're up here, just go ahead and chat to Sigmund. And go ahead and choose option 1. Blah blah says he saw something in the cellar. This is going to be very dependent on who told you about the goblin. Mine is Father Eric in this case. So make sure you talk to him and choose option 1. Once you've done that, you now want to go and speak to Duke Horatio, literally right next to you. Choose option 4. Blah blah said he saw something in a cellar. Run through all of his chat, and it's time to go exploring. So once you finish chatting nonsense with those 2, make your way downstairs and into the kitchen, and then make your way down into the basement. Once here, in the southeast corner of the room, there will be a discoloured wall, and if you hover over it, you'll be able to see that you can actually mine this wall. That's exactly what we're going to do. So go ahead and click on this wall here to mine the rubble. Once you've done so, go ahead and squeeze through. And just a touch in front of you, just to the southeast-ish, is a small item on the floor called a brooch. Go ahead and pick that bad boy up. And whilst you're here, run south just a little bit more, and you'll see another little discoloured wall right by here. You want to mine this through. It'll save you some headaches later on in your Runescape career. Once you've done that, you now want to make your way back upstairs, and we're going to be speaking to Sigmund and Duke Horatio once again. So once you're back up topside, go ahead and speak to Sigmund first. Choose option 1, I dug through the rubble, and then speak to Duke Horatio. And tell him exactly the same thing, option 4, I dug through the rubble. At this point we now need a home teleport, so go ahead and do so up to Varrock, as we need to make our way to Varrock Library in the very north side of Varrock Castle. And we're going to be speaking to Reldo. So once you're back at Varrock, make your way all the way north, literal beeline straight to your north, straight into the castle, into the library, right at the very north side inside, and go ahead and speak to Reldo. So once you're up here, go ahead and speak to Reldo, and we're going to be talking about the goblins with this fella. Choose option 2, I'd like to talk about something else, and then option 1, ask about the brooch. Run through all of his chat, because, you know, don't need it. And in the northwest corner, on the western side of the room, you want to search this top left bookcase. Once you've searched it, you'll receive a book on goblin symbols. Quickly run through all of it, and go ahead and close it. Once you've done so, you now want to home teleport over to Falador, and we're going to be talking to the goblin generals up in the goblin village. So once you're here, you want to make your way pretty much directly north, although not going into the wilderness, because that'd be foolish. And we're going to be making our way into the goblin village and speaking to either General Bentnose or General Wartface. It doesn't particularly matter which one. One thing to keep in mind for the rest of this quest is keep the book on you at all times. That's pretty much it. So once you're at Goblin Village, make your way into the northwest building and you'll find the two generals inside. I've got the answers on the screen for you, as this is the order you want to actually ask these questions in. Have you ever heard of the Dorgashan? It doesn't really matter. Well, either way, they refuse to fight. Well, I found a brooch underground. Well, why not show me both greetings? So it's those 5 answers you want. They're all on screen now, so if you're running through the chat and you're lagging behind, go ahead and pause it, as you'll want to answer all of these. Well, if you ever hear of the Dorgashan, doesn't really matter. Well, either way, they refuse to fight. Well, I found a brooch underground. Why? Well, why not show me both greetings? Once you do so, the goblins will eventually teach you the Goblin Victory Salute and the Goblin Bow. Once you've earned those two, just leave them. Screw goblins. Home teleport back to Lumbridge. And we're going to be talking to the Duke once again. So make your way back upstairs in Lumbridge Castle and go ahead and speak to Duke Horatio. Once you're here, go ahead and choose option 4. I spoke to the generals in the Goblin Village. Run through all of his chat, and it's about time we start searching for these goblins. So with that in mind, make your way downstairs and back down into the basement, and we're going to be running through those tunnels. So once you're here, climb back through that little hole we made earlier, and you're making your way through all of these tunnels here. So on screen now you will see I've just chucked up a map. It's literally over my inventory. You want to follow this pathway through these tunnels, and it's pretty important you do. If you happen to go on one of the paths that isn't on the map, you'll get beaten by rocks or fall down a trapdoor and end up in the Lumbridge swamps, which is why I made you break that second hole earlier, because if you do go down one of those traps, that's the quickest way back here without having to go all the way around or home teleporting or wherever else. So yeah, make sure you follow this pathway. It's on screen now. It's fairly annoying to judge, although if you put your detail on extremely low to nothingness, you should be able to make your way through here without trying too hard. It's a fairly straightforward path, and it shouldn't take you all that long to get through. I would try to explain it to you, but I'd probably cause more problems than actually help solve if I started to say which direction you need to go. So, with that in mind, map is there, people. You can go ahead and pause the video so you can run through the map and do it at your own pace, and then resume it once you're at the other side, and we'll carry on from there. Either way, catch you when we're at the Dorgish Khan entrance. So, finally, once you're here at the end of the path, you want to find a goblin named Mistag, but before you talk to him, you want to stand pretty close to him and use the goblin bow emote. Yeah, it's annoying. But stand next to him once you find him, use the goblin bow, and he'll start talking to you. So once you've done that, start running through all of his chat. And finally, once you're done, you now want to make your way back up to the Duke and Sigmund. So go ahead and home teleport back to Lumbridge. So once you're back here, run upstairs, speak to Sigmund, and then speak to Duke Horatio. I'm guessing you probably see the pattern now. So once you're up here, go ahead and say I've made contact with the cave goblins. Run through the chat. And once you've run through the chat with Duke Horatio in particular, it's now time to pickpocket Sigmund. So go ahead and right click on him and steal his little key. Once you've got that, you want to go into the room just south of where Duke Horatio is, and you'll see a chest inside. Go ahead and crack that bad boy open with the key, and you'll receive a set of ham gear. So you receive the hood, the body, and the legs. So with these items in hand, we now need to make our way to the ham hideout, and it's literally just across the river and then north opposite the cow pen, just to the northeast of Lumbridge. So as soon as you exit, you can pass the first bridge and go to the second bridge, and then cross the second one to the east, and the ham hideout is literally right in front of you. One other thing worth noting is these ham robes are used in a few other quests, so you may want to keep them on you just to save you some hassle later on. You can always drop them though, you can get them again, so there's no worries there. But once you're here, this is the spot to enter the ham hideout. You want to right click on this and choose Picklock Old Mine. You don't actually need a picklock on you, funnily enough. Once you've managed to open it, go ahead and climb down, and there will be a crate in this first room. Go ahead and crack that open, and you receive some silverware. So with the silverware in hand, you now want to go back and speak to Duke Horatio, and we're going to go punch Sigmund in the eye. This is a bit of a bell end. So once you're back at Lumby, go ahead and make your way upstairs again and speak to Duke Horatio. Choose option 4, I find the missing silverware, and Sigmund will get beaten and thrown away, as you do. So with the peace treaty in hand, it's now time to make our way back to the cave goblin. Don't worry, you don't actually have to run through that cave again. You still need to go down into the basement, so make your way down there. So head down the stairs into the basement, squeeze through the gap. Only this time you'll find a goblin wandering around just inside. All you need to do is simply right click on him and choose follow, and you'll appear next to the entrance to Dogish Khan. So go ahead and follow Khazgar. Go ahead and talk to Mistag, run through her chat, hand over the peace treaty, job done. Happy days. So with that said, that is quest complete. For completing this, you gain 1 quest point, 3k mining XP, a ring of life, the freedom of the Dogishan mines, so you can actually go ahead and use them, and your 2 treasure hunter keys. Additionally, you gain the Goblin Bow and Salute emotes permanently. You gain quicker access to the Lumbridge Swamp Caves and access to Narduk's bone weapons, which if you're low level are actually kind of useful. So with that said, happy days, congratulations. So until next time people, I will catch you all later. Hope you found this useful, goodbye.